Alcatraz Island, the Rock, stands as America's most infamous symbol of isolation and inescapable justice. Perched on a lonely outcrop in San Francisco Bay, it was designed to be a place from which no one could escape, both physically and psychologically. Its very name conjures images of cold stone walls, relentless guards, and the finality of a life cut off from the world. For nearly 30 years, it housed the nation's most dangerous and notorious criminals, including infamous figures like Al Capone and the Birdman of Alcatraz. These men were sent here because other prisons could not contain them, and Alcatraz promised absolute security. Its location, surrounded by frigid, treacherous waters just a mile from San Francisco, made escape nearly impossible. The swirling currents and icy temperatures were as much a barrier as the prison's thick walls. Prisoners could hear the city's life, music, laughter, and the hum of freedom drifting across the water, a constant reminder of everything they had lost and could never reach again. 14 escape attempts were made, but none officially succeeded. Most were captured, killed, or presumed drowned in the unforgiving bay. The island's reputation for inescapability only grew with each failed attempt. The 1962 escape by Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers remains a mystery, fueling the legend and inspiring countless stories, books, and films about what might have happened to them. Alcatraz was engineered for total control, a fortress of justice and despair, where hope was scarce and the rules were absolute. Today, its legacy endures as a chilling reminder of the limits of freedom and the lengths society will go to in the name of justice and security. Alcatraz closed its doors in 1963, not for security reasons, but because it was simply too expensive to run. The prison, once considered the most secure in America, had become a financial burden for the federal government. Its isolated location in the middle of San Francisco Bay made daily operations incredibly costly and logistically challenging. Every drop of water and all supplies had to be shipped in, making operations unsustainable. Even basic necessities like food, fuel, and clothing arrived by boat, adding to the mounting expenses. The island's remoteness, once its greatest strength, had become its downfall. The salt air eroded the buildings, and repairs became too costly. Decades of exposure to harsh winds and fog left the prison's infrastructure in a constant state of decay, requiring frequent and expensive maintenance. By the 1960s, it cost nearly double to house an inmate here compared to other prisons. The government could no longer justify the expense, especially as newer, more efficient facilities were being built elsewhere. After closure, the island sat abandoned, its future uncertain. The once feared penitentiary became a silent relic, slowly overtaken by nature and the elements, as the world wondered what would become of this infamous site. In 1969, Native American activists occupied Alcatraz, drawing national attention to indigenous rights. Their bold action challenged the government's policies and inspired a new era of activism across the country. Their 19-month occupation transformed the island's identity, turning it from a symbol of punishment into a beacon for social change and justice. In 1972, Alcatraz became part of the Golden Gate National Recreation Area. The island was preserved as a historic site, opening its gates to the public for the first time. Now, over 1.5 million visitors a year come to experience its haunting history, walking the same halls as infamous inmates and learning about the island's many chapters, from prison to protest and finally to preservation. Alcatraz is back in the spotlight, drawing national attention once again as a symbol of both America's past and its uncertain future. The Trump administration is now seriously considering reopening the infamous island as a federal prison, a move that would mark a dramatic shift in its legacy. In July 2025, Attorney General Pam Bondi and Interior Secretary Doug Burgum made a high-profile visit, touring the windswept island and carefully assessing its potential return to service as a maximum security facility. Their mission was clear: evaluate the crumbling infrastructure, examine the decaying cell blocks, and report on what it would take to revive the Rock for a new era. The administration sees Alcatraz not just as a relic, but as a powerful symbol of law and order, proposing it house the nation's most dangerous and high-profile criminals, sending a message about justice and security. To make this vision a reality, the plan would require shifting control from the National Park Service, which currently manages the site as a historic landmark, to the Bureau of Prisons. Bondi and Bergham's joint report will be crucial, weighing the costs, logistics, and public reaction to determine if this bold idea can move forward. The stakes are high, the debate is fierce, and the nation is watching closely as history may be rewritten on Alcatraz Island. Reopening Alcatraz faces massive hurdles: logistical, financial, and legal. The island lacks basic utilities. New underwater cables and pipelines would be needed, or a return to costly old methods. The prison's structures are decaying, requiring a complete overhaul to meet modern codes and accessibility standards. Environmental and historic preservation laws add layers of complexity. Modern prison standards demand new medical, kitchen, and staff facilities. Daily transport of staff and supplies would make it the most expensive prison in the country. Experts estimate renovation costs could reach billions for just a few hundred inmates. Critics argue those funds could build several new, efficient prisons on the mainland. The proposal has sparked fierce debate. Supporters see it as a bold stand for law and order, a deterrent to crime. Opponents, including San Francisco's Nancy Pelosi, call it a costly, destructive stunt. Environmentalists and historians warn reopening would erase Alcatraz's cultural legacy and end public access. The island now stands as a place of reflection, not punishment. Bondi and Bergham's report will shape the final decision. The administration faces legal, financial, and political battles ahead. The fate of the Rock, prison or landmark, remains uncertain.